Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about the graph, the shape of the graph y equals to 1 over x squared. So this is quite similar in terms of concept when you talk about y equal to 1 over x. So previously we talked about y equal 1 over x. Right? So the only difference is we are just squaring the x that is in the denominator. So this has quite a few effects on the whole graph as a whole. So same thing, I've already plotted the numbers for x and y values so that you can see clearly. So you notice that there are some things that are the same. For example, x still cannot be 0 because even if it's 1 over x squared, if it's 0, it's still 0. I'm still dividing by 1 over or dividing by 0, so you cannot have any answer, so it's undefined. So similarly, y values will also never be equal to 0 because it is still 1 divided by something. If you divide one thing by no matter how many, you cannot be 0. Okay, so that feature is the same, which means the graph also doesn't cut the y and the x-axis. So that one never change. The other thing that never changed is, if you look, I'm subbing a big value. So now instead of 1 dividing by 100, I'm taking 100 I square first to become 10,000, and then I'm doing 1 divided by 10,000. So this makes it even more impactful, but the concept is when I sub a big value and divide by a big value, the answer will be small. So this part of the graph never change. Right? It's still small. When x is big, the graph is still small. So the other thing that never changes is also here. So when x is 0 point something, I'm taking 1 divided by 0 point something square. So again, it's going to be a big number. So it's also going to be like this. So again, it's slanting towards the axis, but never cutting. And it must go nearer and nearer. So something like this. Right? This one can go a bit further down. Okay, so this part of the graph never changed. But if you look at the negative value, now take note, when I sub x equal to 0.1 negative, what happens is I'm going to square this negative 0.1 and I'm going to get a positive 0.01. Now notice that I'm now going to be dividing by a positive number. That's why the answer is 100. You notice it's the same 100, right? So 100, 100. This means that if I sub 0.1 versus I sub negative 0.1, the effect is the same because I'm going to take the number, I'm going to square it anyway. So the negative sign has no effect. So what this suggests is that all the x value here, when I sub positive y, is going to be repeated when I sub all the negative. Here is the same value, 100, 1, 0.0001. Here is the same. So graphically, the effect is like this. All the y value will remain the same, but now all the x are negative. So these two parts of the graph must be identical, or at least when you draw it, it must look as identical as possible. So that is the general shape of this 1 over x squared graph. So right now I'm back to this online graph plotting thing. You can see that 1 over x squared is the black color one. So when this 1 changes to other numbers, let's say 3 for example, you can see that the effect is the same. It's just the same shape but higher. So same thing when it's 8, it's the same shape but higher. Okay. So what happens when it's negative? So same thing. In the previous video, when it's negative, all the y value gets reflected down, right? It flipped down. So it's the same idea here. See, the black color graph gets flipped down to become the green color graph. Everything else is the same. So hope you have learned something new. Thank you and bye bye.